Mr. Eggplant presents...
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. And I have another Mythic Plus dungeon run for you guys, and this is from the current week. So this is going to be a +8 timed Dawnbreaker. So this is going to be the first Dawnbreaker video here on my channel. And like I said, this was done the first week, and we're going to do a big pull here at the very beginning, so I'm literally going to send everything. And I think I burst like almost 4 million DPS. Like, we absolutely annihilated a lot of these packs throughout this dungeon. So the affixes this week, since it is a +8, we do have that Challenger's Peril. So I'll have Xalatath's Bargin Voidbound, which by the way I hate very much. And then we also have Tyrannical, since it's on the early keys this week, and it'll be on the later keys next week. And then we have Challenger's Peril. And I should say, you can eventually get both Fortified and Tyrannical, but on the lower keys, you'll start to see Tyrannical much earlier. So here, all I'm going to be doing is using my cooldowns as much as possible. Now, the Xalatath's Bargin Voidbound does change how you think about using your cooldowns, because whenever that ad comes out, you want to make sure and kill it as quickly as possible, because it has a cast. If the cast goes out, then all... don't let the cast go out. Trust me on that. We found out the hard way in a +9 Necrotic Wake we did earlier tonight, and that didn't go well. So you just want to make sure and DPS it down. It only has 1 health, but it has a giant shield, so you can use like kill shot and that sort of thing on it, and stack your crit buff from Bullseye. So do keep that in mind and try to abuse it as much as possible. But you want to take out the Void Emissary, because if that Dark Prayer officially goes out, it buffs everything around it, and when you do kill it, like we just did there, you get a bunch of cooldown reduction, basically. So you want to have stuff on cooldown and then get some of that cooldown back. It's a pretty big deal, particularly for us with True Shot, because it's already a 2-minute cooldown, which you can whittle it down even further thanks to being a Sentinel Marksman Hunter. And then also running with calling the shots. So you have a ton of play with True Shot. So I haven't really talked about my build too much yet. We're just pretty much just going through this dungeon as quickly as possible, and it's pretty standard these first couple of pulls. So you just want to interrupt as much as you can. If you end up getting what I have right here, the cocoon on you, I just pop a little defensive there. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it will on fortified weeks and higher keys. So just make sure that you are rolling those cooldowns effectively. And I've been really enjoying the new general trees that we've had so far during the pre-patch for Dragonflight and the expansion proper, because I feel like I'm not omega squishy. And the Void Emissary can actually come out when stuff's dead, or like at the very end of a boss fight, or some really bad overlaps for some keys. We did find that it is kind of annoying, and it does keep you in combat as well. So I'm hoping that when this one comes back around, that they will change it a little bit. I know they actually already buffed it in higher keys, for higher keys, because people were ignoring it altogether. On these, you want to interrupt the Howl. That's the best thing to interrupt, and watch out for the Tainted Slash, which is a frontal. Shouldn't really have to worry about that too much. But I'm looking at my cooldowns, and I should have sent it on the previous one. I held it. And so I was like, well, let me just send it. Well, I'm not going to have it up for the boss, and that's going to be one of my goals each and every time I come into a key, is that use True Shot as much as possible. More True Shot usage equals higher damage overall for your Marksman Hunter, as long as you're using it on, big packs or priority pulls. But I want to have it up for bosses, and I'm not going to have it up, so that's kind of on me. But again, I'm learning, and I'm getting through and getting the cadence of each one of these dungeons. So this first boss is the Shadowcrown, and yeah, this is a fun fight. I really like this fight, and as a melee, you don't really have to worry about things too much, but as a ranged, you have a perfect opportunity to stand away from the boss, like you see me here, and baiting I forget the shadow crash that comes out. So there's the emissary. You want to make sure to interrupt that. So burning shadows, that's nothing that you can really deal with, but collapsing night that's what it is. So with that, I kind of did all right there. I could have done a better job. When collapsing night comes out, it will tether to 2 people, and then once that cast finishes, it will drop a poop on the ground, as you guys see here, and it does grow just a little bit. So what you want to do is drop that in a good position, but also you want to be moving as soon as it starts casting, and you should, in theory, not get hit by it. Otherwise, it does a ton of damage every half second. And then the beams come out, and that's pretty much this fight. So we have another collapsing night. Here comes darkness comes. That means we got the boss to 50% health. I'm going to bonk my head on the dirigible here. I'm just going to go out here and grab one of these orbs really fast, and then I'm going to go back to the boss, and we're going to continue with our rotation. And the thing about this boss is you don't want to get caught out putting the poops in the bad situation or a bad spot, but also you don't want to get caught, which I'm going to be getting caught here in a second, with the beam headed toward you, and you have to get pushed into one of these. That is a no-no. So here I got a slow. I should be disengaging there, and I didn't, but see there, I had a beam that was right on top of me, so I'm going to go ahead and use the turtle there and go through 2 beams. That way I'm in the safe zone, and then we can keep on doing damage. But in this entire dungeon, which by the way, my build will be found down in the description of the video if you guys would like to check that out, and that's every one of my videos. I did 1 million DPS on the dot. My uptime for Dawn Silk Lining was 72%, which means I was above 80% health for 72% of the dungeon, which is skewed a little bit because there is a bunch of flying in this, and it also lowers my overall damage because of that. And then the 2 embellishments I'm using, I have Vivacity on my weapon. It's the POW 619 gun, and then I have some 619 wrists that have Dawn Silk Lining on those, and that gives me like 700-ish crit when I'm above 80% health. It's honestly a better version of Blue Silk Lining from Dragonflight. So the boss is almost down, and this boss will, as you kill her, do that transition again, and then you can pretty much just fly away at that point. You don't want to stack those like we just did. That's bad, because you could easily get, one shot by getting the double ticks. But now I'm just going to jump on the mount. Darkness comes. We're going to go ahead and hit one of these orbs here really quick. That way it'll extend my buff, and then we are headed over to the Cathedral. So this boss can literally just explode up there, and we are a-okay. So here the light's going to pop down here in just a second, and then we are ready for the 3 mini bosses to get to Anub'ikkaj. I think that's how you say his name at least. So here comes the Void Emissary, so I'm just going to cleave off of that, and that's what I was kind of trying to do for a lot of my dungeon runs these last couple of days, as I've been getting used to the Xalatath's Bargin Voidbound. But we're just doing a big pull here. I have all my cooldowns, and you can definitely tell because we do a ton of damage. And then I am playing a Sentinel Marksman Hunter, if you guys didn't figure that one out. And then I had some pretty good uptime for Lunar Storm. It was, I think, my 4th highest damaging ability. So that means that I was either delaying it so that way they were staying in the Lunar Storm more, or Teach was cognizant enough to not move too much. Either way, big credit and big damage because of it. That's one of the big issues with Sentinel is, for one, and by the way, you do want to interrupt the Dark Caster's barrier if at all possible. Otherwise, you can simply purge it off with your Trank Shot. But the issue is that everything has to kind of stay in that, or otherwise you lose a ton of your damage. And it hurts your DPS on the meters, but it also hurts your group because you're just leaving damage on the table, so to speak. Then the worst part is your group cannot see it, and they really need to change that. Blizzard's got to change that if they want to see more people playing Sentinel once the Dark Ranger changes happen here in the coming weeks. So this is the first mini-boss, and everybody stays on one side except for our good buddy Oddwin there, and then he'll pop out whenever the big circle comes out. That way, nobody has to worry about the fear circle, and we don't have to worry about who's going where. Everybody knows where they're headed. And then the Abyssal Blast will just go out on people, which is a dot that does a pretty substantial amount of ticking damage. You don't want to get hit by the Terrifying Slam, so you can see Oddwin pop some of his melee plus abilities. That way he could still continue to do damage on the mini-boss. And down goes the mini-boss, and then we are headed over to what's-her-name's house, Steel Trike's house, because we have a date with the things that are attacking her house right now, and we don't like that because you know, it's our friend, right? All right, so now we drop down here, and I'm looking at my cooldowns. I have 15 seconds left on True Shot. This fight's going to last a little bit, and Black Edge is a frontal as well, so you want to make sure and avoid those, and that is from the Tactician. So I'm going to go ahead and just send my cooldowns. So I've been kind of breezing over the rotation currently, but it just goes Volley, True Shot, or excuse me, yeah, Volley, then True Shot, then Rapid Fire, Aim Shot, and you should be able to get those out, assuming you have approximately 7 to 8% haste. So there's going to be this big pulsing AoE damage that goes out here, and then we're actually talking about this in comms, you can't hear it, but Teach is talking about how we should probably go ahead and just kill the Tacticians before, instead of just cleaving off of the Ascendant on a fortified week, because all of those extra enemies just hitting on Teach the entire time is probably going to just flat out kill him. So we will probably start focusing some of the other ads. But I went ahead and I used my my Exhilaration there, and then we are going to head over here under this little, I don't know, bridgeway. If you need to refresh your light, you can. We had been pulling the Nerubian that was behind us, but we opted not to this run, and we had not done this as a complete group, so we were kind of talking through comms, talking about how we were going to deal with the orb, because what we are doing, the orb is going to get put on somebody with the ad here as soon as we finish this stuff, and then we just send it straight down behind us. We found that that's the easiest. Is it optimal? I'm not entirely sure, but we have found really good success, and we had 2 weeks ago we tried this as an 8 on a Tyrannical week, and we got absolutely annihilated, but we did quite well and one-shot everything this go around. So this is another one of the boss abilities, and it's going to pick a target, can literally pick anybody. It's going to put an arrow over their head, and then it's going to fill its cast bar, and after the cast bar goes through, as you can see there with Dark Orb, you go 3, 2, 1, now you can move. It's going to start going slow, and then it'll speed up very quickly, and once it reaches either the end of its 40, I think it's 40 yards, or it will hit something, then it does massive damage. The closer you are, the more damage it does. So because of that, we shoot it straight down the road behind us here. So here comes the orb. So I'm like going 3, 2, 1. Okay, you can move, because there is a little bit of an arming time there, if you will. And then you just run back towards the boss, or back towards the mini boss. That way you're taking less damage. I found that is super easy to call out in a key, and it's honestly, it makes the fight significantly easier. Does he still slap? Oh, you better believe it. But knowing that everybody is doing the dance makes it significantly easier to deal with. So I'm looking, are we going to do another pull, or are we going to go boss? So I know that we're doing another pull, so I'm going to go ahead and send my True Shot here so I can be whittling the cooldown on that. And I do know that we're going to have the Bargin coming out there. So there it is. There's that Void Emissary. I'm going to go ahead and cleave off of that. And then we are just going to finish off this Militant. So I'm already looking, I have 55 seconds left on my True Shot, the Militant's almost down, and then we're trying to figure out, am I doing another pull, or are we doing boss, like I said? And so we should be doing one more pull here, so Teach is kind of rounding them up, and then we just want to avoid the stuff that the Shadow puts on the ground, that black hail as you're seeing right now. If you get the tether on you, as you saw, I think it was from the Darkcaster, you can, it's the beam there. You can actually feign it and it'll stop the cast, or you can stun it, or you can interrupt it. But here comes the Abyssal Rot. It didn't actually hit me, or excuse me, the black hail. It didn't head over my direction, so I didn't have to worry about it. There is that barrier that can be purged off or interrupted. It's just a damaging shield. And now we're looking at, we have 25 seconds left on our Sated debuff, and I have 6 seconds on True Shot, so we know we are ready to go because this boss is going to hurt. So we're going to stand in a line for the most part, and then we are going to get the Dark Orb, so everyone's going to stand in line. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, everybody moves, and then we go towards the boss. And then we're going to finish off this Void Emissary, and this boss can actually double tap you fairly quickly because it's going to go Orb, then Slam, and then it's going to go Shadowy Decay, which is a group-wide stacking damage and it does more damage the longer it lasts, and I think it's 5 ticks. The thing absolutely hurts, and it can kill you very quickly. Then Animate Shadow, so this is where I'm going to misdirect, and I'm going to use my Binding Shot, and then you just want to melt that stuff. And while this is happening, you see that Odwin has the orb. Now we're saying move, 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 finish off the ads. The boss is at 66%, and we are making some really great progress. So you saw that orb exploded behind us, so we didn't have to worry about getting one shot by it. Because in these health pools, when we're getting into the 8s, 9s, and 10s, it's going to really start hurting until we get into some more myth track gear, or even a bunch more heroic track. So here comes another dark orb. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, move, 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 and then we'll move off to the side and we'll move towards the boss. Then we're going to have another slam that's going to come out, so there's that on the tank. The tank's going to move that away, and then we're going to get more ads. Or excuse me, I think we should get shadowy. Oh, I was right. I should trust myself more. There's the ad, so there goes the misdirect, and actually I did not misdirect. Ooh, Tyler, got to do better than that, my friend. Here's an orb while all this is happening, so you just want to avoid that. Because like I said, you can easily get double tapped during this encounter. So I knew that orb was going to explode soon, so I used my Exhilarate, and it pretty much soaked it up entirely. We did lose Vortis there, but we're at 35% on this boss, and he has a ton of health. He just has so much health. I would hate to see what his health would look like should we not kill his followers. But here comes the next set of ads. There we'll misdirect. I learned from my mistake. There goes my my Binding Shot, my volley, my explosive shot, and then I'm going to go aim shot. And then for whatever reason, I didn't do a rapid fire on all that stuff. Hindsight's 2020. There's a lot going on this fight, so I'll give myself a little bit of a break. But we are in bullseye range, and so we are just trying to do our best to melt the rest of this boss's health away. So looking at my cooldowns, I have 10 seconds left on True Shot. The boss has approximately 40 million health, so I need to figure out, am I sending it or not? I'm going to go ahead and use, or here comes the Dark Orb. We're going to move, move, move again. We're at 20 million health left on the boss, so I'm not going to get that full True Shot usage. So we're going to go ahead and just finish off the boss here, and we're going to finish off the Void Emissary, and we'll keep on moving. Our goal is to have our forces completely done by the time we kill Rashanan, the final boss, because you can actually get killed as you're getting grabbed by the boat. It's super annoying. I'm going to get stuck on that pole there. So good at that. And then we're just going to I tend to go off of the dark casters because they do have that beam that you can interrupt, but I'm just going to throw cooldowns. I have everything up and at my disposal, and the way that our rotation really works is we just need to send stuff as much as possible, spend focus to then get your True Shot back and do it all over again. And then in 11.05, they're going to, regardless of if you play Dark Ranger or not, we're getting some great quality of life changes to our Hunter trees in the form of more focus regeneration and easier time with steady focus. So that's going to be something that's exciting that I am really stoked to have in our kit, as I've been asking and championing it for quite some time. We're going to do this one more big pull for sure. I don't remember exactly what percent the boss or the mini boss is on before Rashanan, but I do know that I want to have cooldowns up for it, but I do also know that this stuff here needs to die because it's absolutely annihilating Teach at this point. But the Void Emissary comes out. We're going to go ahead and cleave off of that, and then obviously dodge the poop on the ground. I should probably call it by its correct name, but it's the poop on the ground. There's so much poop that they throw at us in this expansion so far. It's Black Hail. There we go. Finishing off the Tactician, always want to avoid that black edge, and we are off to the Dawnbreaker. We have approximately 12 minutes left on our timer, and we're doing really well. We're at 95% forces, and I believe this is like maybe 7% on the this mini boss here. It has 108 million health. So the way this architect works is after a while it's actually going to summon some ads, and the ads, even if you kill the architect, because the architect when he's dying summons Rashanan, it will still those ads will stay. So you do want to make sure and be wary and cognizant of that. So I cleave off of the dark casters as much as possible. This is just a dot that ticks or a circle that ticks damage, so you want to make sure you're not stacking that on top of people. It's a good time to use a personal, pop a personal, as Glitch would say. And then here comes the emissary. I'm getting hit by that, so I need to move out of the way, and then I am just going to continue to cleave off of the Void Emissary. I'm still getting used to the Void Emissaries. I don't like it. It's too much like Beguiling way back in Season 3 of BFA. I absolutely hated keys that season because of that affix. It was a terrible affix. It was actually one of my most hated affixes they've ever added in the game, particularly like seasonal. Ugh, I hate that one. At least they made up for it with Awakened. But here is the Architect summoning Rashanan, and we basically don't need to do too much damage to Rashanan just because most of the damage is going to be hitting the boss with the bombs. But I'm going to go ahead and send everything here because I know that this boss has an absorbent amount of health. You want to dodge the Expel Webs, which is one of the boss mechanics from Raid. If you have the fat side of this circle, you want to make sure the fat side is facing out and away from the group. And then here comes the bombs, and these bombs can go way far away. I just realized I just took that from Vortis. My bad, my friend. That's a good spot to use defensives as well, as whenever you have those dots, because they hurt. So see here, I had the line. The fat side goes out because that's the way that the wave is going. So the Void Emissary, super annoying here because you want to kill it because it's giving the bosses around it or the enemies around it are taking less damage because of it, and it stacks. So if you ignore it, you pay the ultimate price very, very quickly. So there, I'm going to make sure I'm helping. Was that? I can't even tell who it was. Oh, it was. I believe it was a Psy that had that. Maybe it was either Psy or it was Vortis. Either way, Psy. There we go. Do them a favor and help them. If they're in a position where they're a little bit too far or they need to go to the other side of the room. So be sure and help them and move out the opposite way. But you can actually not run after or fly after Rashanan and all. And as long as you're close enough or you know where there's a couple of orbs where you can fly through and get your light refreshed, you can just set here. So when I said that there was some lulls in the key, this is what I mean, where we're doing everything right and we're just kind of hanging out. So it does lower the overall DPS just a little bit. But here comes Rashanan. We have 3 minutes left on our Lust, and you're thinking, oh, I only have to get it to 60%, but that's a ton of health. This boss is fairly easy just for the number of mechanics it has, and it's a lot of the raid mechanics, but it has an absorbent amount of health. So you can get double tapped very, very quickly. So all of the abilities are still in play here. The Spinneret strands, you want to make sure and run those out, and those can be cleared with the poison wave, just like in Raid. And it does do damage to your entire group whenever you break those. So do you keep that in mind. If there's someone low, you can just flat out kill them. But we're looking at 2 minutes left on our sated, and then I'm just doing a rotation, sending everything we possibly can here. Again, it's fairly straightforward what you need to do. It's just, can you outlast Rashanan? Normally, yes, we had a really great group here. I'm really proud of all the hard work that everybody's been putting into keys over these last couple of weeks. We have the Void Emissary out there. I'm going to go ahead and disengage back, and it's going to allow me to break that fairly quickly and keep on moving and get back to the boss. And you want to get those out as far as possible because the closer they are to us, the less room we have to move around. And so we're unfortunately going to get a bad placement here in just a minute or so. But True Shot came up. We're at 62% on the boss's health, and then we're just going to continue to do our rotation. I'm going to disengage back all the way back here. I shouldn't be back that far. That's at a really bad spot. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and use my turtle. It happened to have turtle up, so then I didn't get stunned there. And we're still at 62%. And unfortunately, that wasted a ton of my True Shot. So hindsight's 20/20, of course, but I would want to make sure and just, if I have True Shot up, wait for those abilities to go out before I actually pop it on the off chance that it picks me. But this web right behind us is not an ideal position for that to be, because that definitely lowers the amount of room we have. So I'm going to go way far out here, and you can use like cheetah and that sort of thing to just get back to the boss just a little bit faster, and to give yourself more speed to get out of it, because it's also doing damage to your feet as you are standing there. But we have 8 seconds left on Sated, so we're going to get ready to call for that Bloodlust and finish this dungeon off. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is so much fun to put these videos out, and I learn a ton actually. I learn a lot about my playstyle and how I can do better, and I hope that you guys learn from my mistakes. Maybe you find something that I did well, maybe you find something I was poor on, and that you can learn from my mistakes. I would encourage you guys to share your feedback down below. But overall, 1 million DPS right on the dot there. I'm just shy of 2,000 for KSM. I should get a. I have like 3s and 4s on my list, so I have a ton of room to improve there. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. Consider subscribing to me if you haven't already, and be sure and follow me over at Twitch at twitch.tv/Mr. Eggplant. I've got a ton more videos out very soon. I hope you guys will check those out. Best of luck in your run, and I'll see you next time.